Welcome back to episode 4. The next parts of Ikigai are the vocation versus profession and the vocation versus mission sections. Wade and Elly have a long chat about these parts and continue to bring in a few of their own experiences in navigating city streets after leaving the military. Let's dive in.
What the world needs. So this is a deep and meaningful one, and it's maybe a bit of a hero complex to say what the world needs. I would change that slightly and say what do you need? What does your family need? What does your community need? Those types of things, and what does the organisations that you're serving need? And the two things that overlap with that are the vocation. So from the previous, what you paid for, what drives you, what's your North Star, and then your mission. So what's something you're hellbound on doing. And for me, it's something I definitely didn't think about when I left the military. I thought about one thing, settling down, having kids, and neither of those happened straight away anyway. So I left a job that was my vocation, but potentially wasn't my mission anymore. If that makes sense. If you don't have this is so, and this I'm reading from the diagrams, like excitement and complacency, but sense of uncertainty. So if you're not doing it and this may be where you can kind of lean in a bit more, Elly. You knew that you wanted to kind of do a certain type of role, and it's maybe changed over that period of time where you went into a startup. You wanted to get in the trenches of the company. That was your mission and potentially your vocation to go and help them in that sense, in that kind of professional role.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll let you kind of elaborate.
Yeah, I too really struggle with this part because what the world needs makes it seem like I'm out saving the world. But you're absolutely right to summarize it. It's what one needs, and that will all drastically change, won't it? But again, all dependent on your journey and what it is that you want to achieve. And if it's about making lots and lots of money, then focusing on what the world needs is quite a good way of putting it. But yeah, what the world needs, what is needed out there, what I need, what my family needs, that's been huge for me in the last 9 months. And that I would say has fundamentally changed. And lots of personal reasons, kind of where we are with our family, where my husband is, where my daughter is, what I need. What you were saying about your wife, that it really resonated with me. And I saw on LinkedIn a good couple of months ago an image of, there's I think it was 4 pillars, and they were kind of like work, social, whatever it may be, whatever your 4 pillars are. And it was a really good graphic to show that if you've only got that one pillar of work, and something goes wrong at work, you topple over. If you've got 4 real baseline pillars of things that make you, like joy and kind of exercise and whatever it may be, as well as work, you become a real strong individual. And that, I think, ties really well into the mission and what you need. Because for me, this bit is so much more than vocation, work, money. It's how do you find a job that ticks so many more than just the vocational professional boxes. And I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent because I think that's just where my headspace is at the moment. Having spent a week kind of enjoying the Dorset sunshine and spending lots of time with family and doing lots of exercise and things, and I focus on myself again. So, but I was going back to one of your previous comments about finding a mentor. One of the biggest things I've done this year was invested in a life coach, and he fundamentally changed how I'm viewing work, how I'm viewing myself, and that's been really, really vital for helping me to drive that forward. And I would almost implore anybody to go and find somebody who you can trust to discuss these things through, and that will really help to drive that mission piece. But going back to kind of more of a job space, when I was looking and thinking startup, hustle culture, I want to be a person, not a number and a cog. That was my mission, to go in and kind of be Elly Ruston, straight out the Navy. This is who I am now. My mission now is much more family focused. I would say. And that makes me sound like I didn't have my family focus in the first time. I definitely did. I probably didn't understand what that meant quite enough, though, because I wasn't leaving for family reasons. As a schoolie, I could have pretty much stayed in the Portsmouth area and we could have had a lot of stability. We didn't travel that much. But I knew that I needed more in myself. So that was kind of my mission for leaving, to find more in myself. And therefore aligning, going back to our comment earlier about what is it that you're leaving the military for, the mission was to find something that was good for me and my soul at work, and to push myself and to find the opportunities and have that hustle culture. Now, I am going to look for something which is a lot more intrinsic. And going back to my comments earlier, I want more learning development. I want more professional development. I know that what I need internally, and that will be more of a mission. So it's less defined, but understanding what it is I need, my family needs, my community, my village, what they need is huge. And that again, you know, the whole concept of Ikigai is it will change and be different for absolutely everybody. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a very good reflective exercise. I think, like, if I think back to my my now, like my mission, like personal mission and professional, and thankfully for me they align. My mission is to support my family, so they've got they're financially secure, and we could do lots of cool things, travel, take them on lots of different journeys and stuff like that. That's my kind of personal mission, but my profession enables that. But my professional mission is to kind of my dream goal would be to kind of work with the military and develop kind of their ways of working, and through using Agile or Scrum or different ways of project management or product development or service development. And I'm quite lucky that I'm getting to start to do that, to work with the military and as a career. Again, but as a civilian and as an external observer, to advise, consult, and mentor and coach. So that's also my vocation. I'm still serving people with my job. I'm still helping and doing that. And my mission is to help service leavers and serving people as well. So giving back to that community. But just made that decision, this is no longer right for me. I get to help them. I commit an hour a week minimum to helping service leavers their CVs, whether that's one-to-one mentoring or one-to-many, and talking through LinkedIn, talking through networking. So that's a real mission and a driver for me. And because I had a bit of a rough time when I left, nothing too terrible, but I definitely lost my purpose for a certain period of time. And it also becomes like I also get to work with the serving people to create environments so people don't potentially want to leave because they love it. It's the military that I remember from when I first joined, where I was in Germany. It was like a family, and I never wanted to leave there. But sadly, I was posted back to the UK. But I would never have left that version of my military then. I loved it. So it's an interesting way, like talking about going back to the centre part where mission and vocation cross over, is like excitement and complacency, but sense of uncertainty. And I think back to my time in Germany, it was very exciting. I was probably a bit complacent, and there was some uncertainty in life as well. But that's what I needed at the time, and the people I was with in that organisation, they need that as well. We had a real mission, and we like being there as well. So, for me, now my mission is very different. Like, it's very family orientated. They're the beneficiary of my professional mission. And it's my vocation, thankfully, as well. So I'm ticking a few boxes here, which is good.
You're ticking a lot. It's awesome. Yeah, give us the secret. And do you love it?
Yeah, it's just time. I think exactly. And that comes into it, isn't next is what you love. And that's the next section. And I think so. You talk about, before we move on to that, it's like that secret ingredient is just time, self-awareness, and time, being able to reflect continuously, whether that's monthly, quarterly, whatever's good for you, depending on how stable your life is. Just being able to reflect, be self-aware of how you feel, how your dependents feel, if you have them, or people in your social network, like your friends or your immediate family, how they feel around you at the time. And if they're saying you're happy, you're probably happy, in a good position potentially. But Like you've got to have that self-awareness, that emotional intelligence to dig a little bit deeper. And touch on this very, very quickly. Rewind last year, February, daughter had to go into hospital. Really, like it was really bad at the time, but she was actually okay. So I went and afterwards it was really quite traumatic. So I was a bit angry and annoyed. So I did a couple of weeks of therapy with a therapist just to talk about how I was feeling and get that emotions out. And she said to me that you always speak in headlines, Wayne. So he's like, you're angry or you're sad or you're upset. You don't ever dig a bit deeper. So that gave me that emotional intelligence and self-awareness to say, okay, let's dig a bit deeper. Like, what is my real mission? Or I'm on a mission. Like, what is my real mission? And just talking about it and just digging it a bit more deeply from a personal self-reflection perspective. So a bit of a tangent, but I think it's important for people to think about that when they're leaving is how they're feeling. Don't just stop at the headline, just dig a little bit deeper or have someone to ask you the question, whether that's a therapist or a life coach or a mentor. Having those people is really important. So cool. So did I love it? I think that's the question. Absolutely. So do I love what I do now? Absolutely. And this comes back to when you see the image, it'll be passion and mission. And this bit give you delight and fullness, but no wealth. So you could love something like if I just spent all my day helping service leavers write CVs and do one-to-ones and help them with their LinkedIn profile and stuff like that, I'd be pretty broke. I don't think it would pay that well. I don't think people are willing to pay me to do it enough. So it's definitely very, very true that it would fulfill me completely and I'd get a lot of pleasure out of doing it. But I would be broke and I wouldn't be able to do the rest of the things I want to do. So that's that kind of really sums that one up quite well. Like just as where I'm at now. When I left the military, I was passionate about engineering. I discovered it wasn't really my mission to create machines that made lead acid batteries. Like it just wasn't. It wasn't something that drove me. And thankfully, it was my profession, and I could be paid for it. But I kind of still had that one foot in that what I love, which was the engineering part of it at the time. So yeah, it's a difficult one for yourself. Obviously, he's just obviously be made redundant. So it's like you can't say you love being made. Well, you might do actually. You might love being made redundant.
I love that uncertainty. I love sunbathing and mucking around outside. Can I be paid for it? Absolutely not. I think though, one thing that throughout this whole conversation, it's like, can you ever truly find, and when you look at the Ikigai model, that centerpiece where you genuinely are, you're really good at it, you get paid a really decent amount or whatever you need for it, the world needs it and you love it. Question, can you ever get that true middle? But one thing that I do think you can do, and you've touched on it already, and this is kind of where, as the Chief of Staff Collective leader and some of the support that I give to service leavers, that's the bit that you can love. So it might be completely separate from your actual core job, but can you find something that you love? And it goes back to my pillars analogy. Can you find something that you love that can bolster up the fact that you maybe don't completely love it or don't get complete satisfaction from your day job, or that it goes up and down a lot more than you like? And that's just something that kind of plays in the back of my mind. If you can tick loads and loads of boxes of you're good at that, you like it, maybe you don't love it but you like it, it pays a decent amount, and it aligns to your mission, what can you do to booster up that love piece that kind of gets you out of bed in the morning to go, okay, so I might not love what I'm doing, but I know that later on today I will be doing something that I do love doing, and that's all okay. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think like I have really bad days. So I have some bad days at work, and I'm not passionate about it anymore, and I don't love it. But it still fulfills my mission. I still get paid for it, and it fulfills my mission. And sometimes I have really good days, and it's like some days I have that perfect Ikigai center. My reason for being is completely aligned, and the stars are squared, and I love it. But some days are really shit days where people don't want to talk to me. They're having a bad day, and they turn up to a workshop that I'm facilitating and just completely pile it in. So it can be obviously ups and downs, and this is the bit where it's very, for people that are quite sensitive from an emotional perspective, like this can be a real driver for a lot of people. Like some people that are kind of quite thick-skinned and not pink and fluffy, this isn't always an issue. But I think you will have elements of the passion and mission part of it. If you're happy just to turn up to work and crack on, this isn't going to be as important for you. If you just want to be told what to do, and I mean, fair play, some people just want to do that. They want to do those types of jobs, and it pays them good money or good enough money, and it's what the world needs, and they're good at it. So it's like fair play to them. So this is where it's like it's not a equal like spider chart. Essentially, it will dip in certain parts where you're not as bothered about certain things like that. If you were a volunteer, for example, an unpaid volunteer, you're not really going to care if you can be paid for it. Is it your vocation and professions? Are you still good at it? And does the world need it? Because if you're being unpaid for something that the world doesn't need, and you're not good at it, and you don't love it, it's just, you get my point.
Thanks for watching. Catch Wayne and Elly next week as they wrap things up and leave you with a few more tips for success. Cheers!